I'm a first-time Honda owner, and I can't express how extremely surprised I am about these vehicles. Let me walk you through the things I've done to improve it, and then list off a few things I still need to do to improve it. So one of the first things I did is I put on these VF Goodrich all-terrain tires. The old tires were getting pretty bare, and I had thought back and forth about getting more of a street tire or more of an all-terrain tire. Well, we live here in the country, and sometimes I like to go up to the hills that are actually behind you about 10 miles and just kind of drive around and see what's going on. And as far as hunting and stuff, sure, I'm not going to get an elk in this thing, but a deer would fit fine in the back of it. The back seats fold down, so no worry about that. It's better on fuel than my full-size truck. It's got all-wheel drive, and it's not, it doesn't have all the creature comforts that we're used to these days in a higher end vehicle, like heated seats and heated steering wheel and all the backup cameras and that kind of stuff. No, this is your basic, just automatic all-wheel drive car, and I like that about it. Next thing I did is I had these tires mounted on these steel wheels. Well, the steel wheels were kind of painted silver, and it looked just like the body color here. So I decided to take to watch some videos on YouTube and figure out how to plasti dip the wheels. So I went through all that process, and it turned out really well. It's kind of filthy right now, but I don't really care. It's a $3,800 car. It gets me from home to work, from home to the store and back. I don't really care. But one of the other things I did to it was I just recently, in fact 2 days ago, I changed the rear struts because the ass end was kind of sagging down a little bit. So, and I am no mechanic, and I mostly used Pittsburgh tools. You know, go figure, I didn't have to use Snap-on to get this job done. What else did I do to this thing? I put this sweet Harbor Freight rack on top, which kind of gives it more of that rugged look, I think. I don't know. I just wanted it to look more utilitarian, more not UTV, but more kind of like a do everything, go everywhere car. You know, it's cool because when you don't spend much money on a car, you can put frivolous things like a frickin' basket on it if you want. It doesn't really matter. So the lighting was really terrible, so I had to spin the car around a little bit to get a better view of the inside here. But one of the things I did too is I added this WeatherTech cargo mat, which I'm a big fan of cargo mats. If you don't have this on here, oh, I also bought the picnic table too. But if you don't have a cargo mat, to me, it doesn't look finished. So I like the way that looks. I also got this cargo cover here, and what I like about it is it keeps prying eyes out of your vehicle. It doesn't take much just for someone to walk by and peek in your vehicle to see what you have. And if you have a cargo cover on there, they can't see. So I could have nothing in here, or I could have piles of gold in here and nobody would ever know. But then again, if I had piles of gold, I wouldn't have bought a 2002 Honda CR-V either. So anyway, let's take a look and see what we got in here. This cargo cover doesn't go back all the way to the back seat. It kind of goes about halfway, which kind of bothers me a little bit. But the way Honda made this, they put the brackets kind of midway instead of putting them back toward the seat more, which I don't know. But it gives me access to the back, so no big deal. In here, I've got a folding crate. This is made by Clever Made. What's nice about it is that you can just fold this thing up and it becomes a crate for, you get the point, it becomes a crate so you can hold stuff in. I like that if you go shopping or something, you need to toss some things in there and put it in the back here. It keeps stuff from falling over and rolling around. I also have, we'll get to this in a second, I also keep a Carhartt jacket in here because, you know, if you're, I like to think about things like, okay, I come home from work and the car breaks down for some reason and I got to walk for a while. So I wanted a jacket. Sure, this is not a very heavy jacket, but it's better than nothing. I also keep this little shorty flathead shovel in there. It's one of the ones that I refinished. I sanded this down, I sanded the whole thing down and put some varnish on it, treated the steel here. It's not perfect, but it was pretty bad at first, but it looks better now, and it's just something to throw in the back in case you need to shovel something, or maybe you got zombies, you can use it as a zombie weapon. I don't know, but it doesn't take up much room. It's light, so toss that in there, and it fits right there between the wheel wells, so it's perfect. So moving on to this crate here, this is from a brand called Instacrate. It's also a fold down crate, which is kind of cool. But in here I keep a Milwaukee inflator, because you never know. Doesn't take up too much room. I've used it before a few times, and it's actually it's amazing. It's cheap insurance to me. Every once in a while I gotta check the battery to make sure it's topped off, but that's pretty much one of two maintenance items I have to, well, probably maybe more than two. But in here, this is a Maxpedition case, and in here I keep, it's my dog walks on the tripod. What's up, buddy? I keep a GB40 Noco battery jump starter, and this is one of the other items I have to keep. I gotta check every once in a while to make sure it's topped off. This one is actually, you push the button here and it will show, probably hard to see, but it'll show that it goes all the way up to green, so I know that thing's charged. I've used this one and my larger one several times on, usually on my tractor. I have an older International tractor, or Farmall Cub, that needs a little help every once in a while, and the Noco comes in super handy. Let's see what else I keep in here. I got one of these Harbor Freight, let's see, Voyager bags, just a little, almost kind of a cotton canvas looking bag. And in here, I keep just a simple Husky 30-piece mechanics set, 1/4-inch drive. You're not going to do a bunch with this, but if you need to tighten something down, it's rattling or loose, you can do that until you can get to your shop or get to a mechanic. Some, as you call them, zip ties, as electricians call them, tie wraps. Just a kind of a bundle of those. Looks like an extra lamp for something. A small set of vice grip brand channel locks. And then an assortment of combination wrenches that have a ratcheting boxed end to them. Get them all out of here. And these are in SAE and in metric, so there's kind of just a variety of various tools in there. Shop towel, and I have some ratchet straps, light duty ratchet straps, and some light duty bungee cords. That's about all I have in there. I need to figure out what else I might need for doing kind of parking lot maintenance or side of the road fixes till I can limp this old girl home. Because then again, if it gets too complex, I'm gonna have to limp it over to a mechanic, because once again, I can do a lot of things, but I am no professional when it comes to the larger things. What else do I have in here? I keep some bottled water, which was one of those maintenance items too that you kind of have to keep an eye on, because if they freeze, they can split and leak. They get too hot, they can kind of, the water kind of tastes like crap. But I keep this, it's kind of a demo tool. I bought this freaking years ago, and it was just so cool. I had to have it. This is I think it's made by Dead On Tools, and I put this paracord wrap on it. But I thought it was kind of cool because you can use it as whatever. You can use it to pound something, pry something. This is made, I think, to do demo. If you got to put in a board in there and rip the board out, and then it's got a little spiky, I think it's on there, little spiky end with a nail puller on it too. So kind of cool. Kind of fits my zombie vehicle vibe, but also kind of looks like an everyday driver. So let's see what else I keep in here. A couple bottles of 5W20 full synthetic, because you never know, and some pre-mixed antifreeze. A fire extinguisher that has the pin out. I just noticed, put that pin back in there, and the gauge does say green still, so apparently this is still good. This is an Amerex brand, which I heard are one of the more preferred brands. I have no idea where I got this. Have you seen the prices of fire extinguishers lately? Like the upper end ones, they're expensive, but you know, this is a budget vehicle, budget build, so I just used what I had on hand. My wife had bought me this Pendleton blanket that, where's the zipper? And I figured, you know what, this is compact. It has a carrying handle and actually has a shoulder strap too. So in case something happens, car breaks down and I got to walk, I can toss this thing over my shoulders like I'm homeless or something and stay warm. Or if you're in your vehicle, you need something more, you can put this on and stay warm as you're waiting for help. And then I think the last thing in this box is just a cheap Harbor Freight we'll call it 5x7 tarp. And this is just something if you needed to, say, lay underneath your car to do some work, you can toss it underneath there, lay on it, and you won't get your suit all dirty as you're down there fixing it. Let's toss all this stuff back in here. But I want you guys to leave it in the comments. What do you guys keep in your car or truck? What's your kind of your EDC maintenance, your vehicle EDC? I'd be curious to know, because I always like to learn from the comments, and you guys have been really wonderful when it comes to suggestions. Some of them have been honest and out of good faith, and some of them have been, you know how YouTube and the internet is. Everybody's got something to say, and sometimes guys can be respectful, and some guys are they're just assholes. So, but anyway, I've been an asshole before online too, so I'm not innocent. I get it. And if you want to be a YouTuber, you cannot allow people to bug you. And it's just, you go on. And besides, I'm too old to really be bothered by anybody else. I picked up this little IFAC kit on Amazon, and I really wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not. It's tiny. I mean, you can see how big the thing is. You can almost put it in a cargo pants pocket. Not that anybody wears cargo pants anymore. At least, well, I don't. But it's your very basic boo-boo kit. It's nothing extreme. I think this one came empty and I built it. And so I just, threw some shears in there and some gauze pads. Some antibiotic ointment, Band-Aids, what else in here? Gloves, tape, gauze, burn dressing. So nothing that's going to really save a life, but it's going to help someone on the side of the road if they get a little bit scratched up from something. It's just kind of you kind of have to think to yourself, what if? Not live in the what if moment all the time, because you drive yourself batshit crazy. But it's those little thoughts every once in a while you have to think about it. It's like, well, hey, what if my car broke down on the way home or way to work or something? I need to be able to either try to fix something or mend something, repair something, or I'm going to have to walk to some place and get cell phone reception if you have none, which we have a problem out here sometimes, or walk to a neighbor's house or someone around and then use their phone. So that's something. And then what happens if you're on the way to work or you're on the way to the store and someone gets in an accident, which, I mean, I've been there before. I think most people have seen that before, where they've had to stop and render aid. And this is just a very small, almost inconsequential kit, but at least it's something. I'm not going to carry a full-on paramedic kit in here because I'm not trained to use a paramedic's kit. And there's guys out there who have all kinds of, needle decompression and what do you call that, nasal NPAs and things like that. It's like, yeah, that's all well and good, and that's cool. And if you're trained to use it, then awesome, that's badass. But I see a lot of people like buying kit just to have the kit, and I'm guilty of that myself sometimes too. Like with that demo bar, it's like, what am I going to demo on the road? I'm not going to drive by a remodel and start helping. But it's just something it's fun. And I realize that some of this stuff is fun and some of this stuff is interesting. We want to see what's on YouTube and we want to emulate that. And we want to we want to just be included, and it's the whole the FOMO, the fear of missing out. Someone's got something cool that I don't have, and I better get that. And I totally get that. I have an EDC drawer full of different tools and knives and Leatherman multi-tools to prove it. But I think that's about all I wanted to share today. Oh, upgraded the lights in the interior lights, and there's a few other things. Oh, I wanted to go over a few things I wanted to do. So the rear struts actually helped raise the butt up a little bit, so the car is more even now. I changed the front what do they call sway bar end links, and that was fun. It was supposed to be an easy job, as far as YouTube. But yeah, this is a half-hour job. Well, it's a half-hour job if you can get the freaking bolt off of the old ones. So anyway, I changed those out, and there was a clunk in the front end beforehand. And I took this thing out yesterday, went for a drive, and took it over some rougher terrain, and there was no clunk anymore. But then I realized there was a clunk in the rear. So one of the next things I'm going to do is change the rear stabilizer end. All right, so that's about it. I'm really curious to know what you guys keep in your truck or car for those unexpected things that might happen. And so this has kind of been a two-part video. I went over the fact that older vehicles, when you just kind of work on them and maintain them, they're wonderful, and you're saving yourself thousands and thousands of dollars. Sure, you're going to be changing things like tires and suspension parts, maybe, or maybe doing some kind of minor tune-up or upgrades or things like that. But I believe, to me at least, that dollar for dollar, I'm more ahead than if I had to pay $600, $800 a month for a new vehicle. If I look at what I spend on this vehicle every month, I mean, I just spent, maybe $400 to repair the transmission, to repair the suspension. Now, $400, that could be a car payment, but I'm only making that once. And maybe in 2 more months, I'll spend another $400 and I'll do the front struts and the rear end links. But again, I think it's just a better use of money, especially if you know how to do a little bit of work on your own vehicle. I think you'll come out ahead. And especially also, these days, everything's so freaking expensive. Wages aren't really reflecting the cost of living anymore. And you've got to find every spot, every place you can cut expenditures. And to me, old vehicles like this 2002 Honda CR-V are well worth it. And what I'm afraid of, though, is I'd like to buy another one of these or something similar, maybe a RAV4 or something that's going to just needs a little bit of TLC. Someone maybe didn't have the means to fix it, but I can go ahead and nickel and dime it till it's back up and going 100%. And I could have a couple of these vehicles for, say, $8,000. I've got 2 vehicles, and not $40, $50, $60, $70,000 for one vehicle. So that's all I got for you today. Leave in the comments what you got going on, and we'll talk to you guys later. Hi, buddy. You bring me a ball? Did you bring me a ball? Want to get it? Get it.